pays me. I know I wear this shirt way too often, but it's so comfortable. It fits so well. If you want one, go to Renewed Vintage Market and get you one. However, I thought I would come to you today and share it with you, something that I don't think people get. And I might be the only one that functions this way, but I'm going to just share with you how my brain works when I'm deciding what it is that I need to make for the shop that week. Okay, so this week is the week before Valentine's Day. And so my plan is to have some of the things in the shop ready to go in case somebody would like to celebrate Valentine's Day the weekend before. I'll have things ready by Friday. Also, I'm supposed to be shipping out an order for a company. For some Valentine's boxes are going to be shipped, and some of them are going to be delivered. I don't know who's supposed to be delivering them. That's not my problem. They come pick them up from here, and then they go deliver them, I suppose, but I will put the other ones in the mail. So I got to get my stuff done so I can have everything in the mail by Friday so they can be delivered by next Friday. Hopefully, it doesn't snow again. There's no more bad weather, but the mailman's been coming to our house since Sunday. So I'm like, kudos to the mailman. Now, I was coming to you to share with you what other things I'm planning to do this week. So we're a little low on funds. You know, we were closed for most of the month of January, so there's very little money left in my bank account. I'm thinking like $7.37. That's what I got in here. So I don't have a whole lot of money to buy ingredients, but I have a whole lot of ingredients. So I have to make things based on what I already have. Now let me show you what I'm working on. This is a pan of pie bars. Now I have two pans that are ready to go. The base of it being a shortbread base and the custard filling, and I have enough. I've made enough for 2 pans. So I made this shortbread and stayed in the freezer because we were ready to go because it was snowing and we didn't get a chance to do it. Well, today I'm doing it. And based on the ingredients that I have, and chocolate is not very often an option, but because I have just bought some chocolate chips today, it's gonna be an option. And the prices of the regular chocolate chips that I buy, they're not regular, they're still Ghirardelli, but the bag has gone from $32 to $47. Okay, no, yeah. I think it was $32 last time I bought it. I think it was on sale when I bought it. So usually I stock up, but there was only one bag, and it was only milk. There was no dark. They have dark Ghirardelli bags of chocolate, but they're small bags of chocolate chips. It's just not worth it for me to pay $7.49 for a small bag of chocolate. It's just not. It's 12 ounces, and the bag of chocolate chips that I buy, let me get. This is 5 ounce. So, and the dark chocolate chips are 10-ounce bags, and not, I think they're either 12 or 10 ounce. Either way, the dark chocolate chips weigh less than the milk chocolate chips. Check that out at the store. So I think it's cheaper to buy the chocolate chips in bulk like this, but the chef store doesn't put dark chocolate chips like this. They do the smaller bag. So what I have been doing was getting a cowbell. And of course that bag is too expensive. So I only have a little bit of dark chocolate left. I don't know what I'm gonna do after that. I don't know. We'll see. Because I use dark and milk in my chocolate chip cookies. Well, I'm making a coconut custard bar, and I was contemplating putting chocolate chips in there, but after this long conversation, I think it's just gonna be coconut. Like a coconut custard pie, I don't need no chocolate chips. We're gonna just leave them out. But this one, I happen to have some pumpkin left over from the holidays, a can of pumpkin. So, and I had some pecans, so I toasted up a pan of pecans, and I opened up that can of pumpkin, and I made a pumpkin pecan pie bar. That's what's in here. Look at it. Yeah, see those chunky pecans just floating there? And it's really cold in here, so the mixture is thicker than normal. It's usually thinner, so the pecans are suspended perfectly. And do you remember that shortbread I told you about? So what I'm gonna do is just sprinkle it on top of my pie bars. And this is like a streusel topping. I think streusel is the word. Streusel is a pastry unto itself, isn't it? Streusel is the word, I think. So I'm gonna put that on top and cover it really well. And I gotta get out of here by 1:30. So I don't think I'm gonna get my croissant dough made. I don't have a lot to do tomorrow, so I'll just work on that tomorrow. So the whole thing is supposed to be covered because you don't want to see that much orange coming out from the pumpkin. But you also don't want it to be rolling around once you cut the bars. You want it to be like rooted in there. This is one of my favorite treats. And they're so rich, I can't eat a whole one at once. I kind of cut it into quarters. I'll nibble on it, then go back and get another quarter a couple hours later, and another quarter a couple hours later. I don't know, I guess because I work around this stuff all the time, I don't want to eat it all the time. But when I do, Lord help. Okay, this is ready to go in the oven for about 45 minutes to an hour. I cook them low and slow because I don't like caramelization. I don't want it to turn dark brown. I like the light color of my streusel topping, and I like for my bar to stay light on the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in and get started on the coconut. Okay, for the coconut one, I'll use some Baker's coconut. I'm not brand specific, to be honest, but I like the way this one is because it's a little bit more moist, not so dried out like the other ones are. But those dry ones have their applications. If I'm really toasting them, the dry ones are perfect. So I'm gonna put part of that in the custard, and I'm gonna save some for the top to sprinkle on the top so I can have some toasted coconut mixed in with the streusel topping. And then I'm gonna use some coconut extract. I just wing it. I'm gonna put in about 3 tablespoons. This is a real tablespoon. And then I need to go wash this. Okay, one thing I forgot to mention is that I did already put vanilla in here. So both have vanilla in the base. But I was gonna make maple pecan pie bars. So I added some maple into that. And since I was making my pumpkin pie bar as well with the pecan, I also put the spices and the flavoring for the pumpkin pie. So there was a lot going on in that pie bar. This one, very simple. It's got coconut and coconut. And it's not very chunky. I'll show you. It's not very chunky. Not really. Right? And those extracts, even though they don't have sugar in them, they do add some sweetness to them. So you don't have to use a whole lot of sugar, but boy, is there a lot of sugar in this recipe. I was going to use my immersion blender, and then I realized it was going to cut up my coconut in a way that I didn't. I like those big long flakes of coconut, so I'm just going to leave those in there. Let me get my other pan. Okay, so this is my crust that I froze, but if you look closely, you'll see that this is the baked portion. It's already baked, but I added in some extra shortbread around the edges to make sure they were sealed in the gaps so that the filling doesn't bake and sink underneath, because that has happened to me before and I don't like it. So let's put our coconut in. My bad. I forgot I was recording. My brain's going 5,000 miles a minute, and I'm thinking about all the things I gotta get done, and I'm getting ready to go to the temple, and I gotta go home and shower. And it's gonna take 45 minutes for these things, so I gotta get my dough for my brioche done. Oh Lord. So I had coconut, I had pecans, I had pumpkin, all the things that I already had, so I didn't have to go to the grocery store and buy. Thank God I had enough sour cream to make this recipe, because it takes a full 2 pounds of sour cream. Come on, these little chunks of coconut. I don't know if I want that big piece of coconut in my mouth. Okay, so this is good. This would have really been good with some chocolate. I'm just not willing to invest that right now. I have to save my chocolate for other things. And then hopefully I have enough of this to go across the top. So I wanted to do some berries, like a blackberry pie bar or blueberry pie bar with lemon custard, but I don't have any. I think my husband used all the blueberries in our fritters the other day. And you can use fresh blueberries or you can use blueberry pie filling. Either way, it works. I don't have either one, so there's that. But these things, ladies, if you're bakers and you want things that are going to be shelf stable, this isn't shelf stable, but it's freezer ready. So what we do is we go ahead and make these up, cut them into 24 pieces, because I'll get 24 pieces out of this. And then I wrap them individually and just stick them in the freezer and take them out as needed. Good in the freezer for up to 2 months. They just never last that long. Here, even in our slow periods, they don't last that long. Once people know that we have the pie bars, they come get them. And I'm gonna have to pull out all the stops to get people to come out here and braid this ice that's piled up on the side. Like, good gravy. It was almost dang near impossible to find somewhere to park today. Okay, so today I've made coconut pie bars, pumpkin pecan pie bars, and probably by the end of the week I will have made either a blueberry or blackberry, because I'm really digging blackberry. Although I have some frozen mango chunks, I can make a mango pie bar. Yeah, think about it. So those bake for about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what the filling is. So when they're done, I'll let you see what they look like. So this is what they look like when they come straight out of the oven. If you can see how puffy it is right there, really puffy, and then it flattens out like that. So this is the pumpkin pie one, and it's been cooling now for about 15, 16 minutes. This I just pulled out of the oven. It still has that layer of lump on it. And see how toasted the coconut is? It's gonna be so delicious. And it's starting to sink. I'm gonna stick it in the freezer so when I come in the morning, they'll be easier to cut. And I'll show you that as well. Okay, it's the next day. It's been chilled in the freezer, and I'm cutting them in slices. And I used to get 24 out of the pack, but now because we're trying to make things smaller and more affordable, so we dropped the price on it, I decided to make them thinner. I love this knife. It's kind of hard to cut through frozen shortbread. So this is the custard slice. And this is the coconut one. Okay, so I cut them into pieces, and that's sufficient. They used to be a big square, like a 3x3 square, and honestly, that's a bit much. You don't need that much. So we're just gonna put them in a cupcake wrapper, like this, for serving. Okay, so before I get into my pumpkin pecan pie bars, I'm gonna show you, this is what I got out of the pan, 27 of them, so it's not that much less. That we'll be charging because I usually get 24 and I thought I was doing a good thing. But here's the thing, when you go into a bakery, oftentimes you'll see this much sitting out. We don't do that. Because if we put everything out and it doesn't sell, what am I supposed to do with it? Put it in the trash? So we put stuff in the freezer and we keep it there because we don't like to throw away food. Like, I don't like throwing away food. So I will keep this in an airtight container in the freezer and pull out as many as needed. So like if we go throughout the day and we start selling a bunch of them, then I can just go grab some and let them sit out, and by the time more customers get to them, they'll be thawed and ready to go. I would rather do that than like a lot of bakeries and just put stuff in the case and just leave it there until it sells for days and days and sometimes for weeks. I've been to bakeries, like I went to this bakery and it's like an old mom and pop looking place. It was beautiful. The hardwood floors made that hollow sound when you walked across them, those wafting floors, and the whole bakery was full of stuff, and they had merch for sale, and it was just old-fashioned, good old-fashioned Virginia look, right? I just loved it. And I bought a sampling of all the things, and it just looked kind of impossible to me because it was a pie shop, and I'm not talking about one close to me. I'm talking about one up in, it's this like really picturesque place. I don't want to drop names, but it's a really picturesque place, and it's up toward Northern Virginia, and it's just beautiful area, right? And they had all of these pies, all of these cakes. I mean, all the big machines that were like antique, and they just, when I say like my shop is bigger than their shop is, at least the front part anyway, but every square inch of that shop was covered with product. And they only had like 2 or 3 people working in there, and I'm like, if it were me to produce that much product fresh enough to be sold, like you would want to rotate that stuff out like once every 3 days, right? There's no way in Hades they was rotating that stuff out every 3 days. And everything that I bought tastes like it had been sitting around for at least a week or 2. At the least. Like you would just bite it and throw it in the trash because it didn't taste good. I'm like, how are they doing so much better than I am? How is that possible? Because this stuff is straight old and garbage. So I mean, when I say they had pies out the wazoo and cakes and cupcakes and all the things was just everywhere. Every square inch of that place was covered with stuff. And I'm sure they could have had a shift that comes in at night, but there wasn't enough room in that place to have that much of a shift to cover all of that product. It just sits there until it is sold, and you buy it as long as there's no mold on it. We don't do that. It'll sit here for a couple of days and then it's gone, or we repurpose it. Like, these are some fritters that we did not sell. They're blueberry. Guess what? They're still nice and soft, but I wouldn't sell them to my customers. We're gonna make bread pudding with it. Got some cinnamon rolls sitting there as well. I'm gonna put those in the oven in just a minute. I mean, there's nothing worse than going somewhere and buying an old product that's been sitting out forever. I'm just saying. So here's a cross section of the pecan pie bar. Look at that. Better. It's pumpkin pecan pie. Pumpkin pecan pie. That's an edge piece. So we got pumpkin and pecan pie and sweet, like it's got the spices from the pumpkin pie and the maple and the pecan from the pecan pie. It's just delicious. Oh, I forgot to show you what the streusel looks like on top. Check it out. It's not too dark. It's not too light. It's just right. They go in the freezer in their packages in these fish tubs. This is a larger fish tub. I got these left over for samples. I'll put them out front under a cloche so people can try them and know how delicious they are.